Hey guys, you guessed it, we are back with another recipe. This is a sourdough discard chocolate chip cookie recipe and by far one of my favorite discard recipes I've made to date. What you will need for this recipe is some pecans, baking powder, eggs, baking soda, white sugar and brown sugar, of course your starter, chocolate chips, and also vanilla. So we're just going to start off by browning the butter. This is the first time I have done this and wow, it really gives a depth of flavor to this recipe. So do not skip this step. Keep it on a medium heat, make sure it doesn't burn, and get it nice and brown and caramelly. You'll be able to start smelling the caramelness, if that's a word. So yeah, do not skip this step. So we're just gonna add this to our bowl. The recipe I was inspired by called for a cup of butter, which is 2 sticks, which I just thought was excessive. So instead I decided to go in with some coconut oil for the second half. So I just put the coconut oil into the warm butter to melt it in, and I just stirred it till it melted. After that, we're just adding our sugar, first the white sugar, then the brown sugar. And what I don't show here is mix this before you do anything else because you want to make sure that your mixture is not too warm, because the next thing we're going to do is add our egg yolks. So we're adding 3 egg yolks. You just want to make sure you're adding these after you've mixed the sugar and the butter so that your eggs don't end up like scrambled in your mixture. So we're just going to continue with the wet ingredients here. I've got my sourdough starter, and all the exact measurements will be in the description below. I got this recipe off Hopewell Heights blog. If you have watched a couple of my videos, I think you'll have heard me mention her maybe once or twice. I love her recipes and her videos. So we're going to be pouring in some vanilla extract just from the heart. I never measure my vanilla extract. We're gonna stir until fully combined. Once that is fully combined, we will be adding our flour. So this recipe calls for 2 cups of flour. Then to finish off our dry ingredients, we have our baking soda, the baking powder, and finally we have our salt. I used salted butter, so I halved the amount of salt for this recipe. So then we're just going to go in with our chocolate chips, and I also added pecans. You can leave this out if you so please. You can also really customize this dough any way you want. So add in anything you would like at this step. Once we get that fully combined, we're just going to put a piece of parchment paper on our baking sheet, put our cookies on the baking sheet, and then pop it in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 to 12 minutes until you start seeing them get golden. These cookies turned out fantastic. I love a nice golden outside with a soft, chewy inside, and this is just such a good way to use your sourdough starter. You really cannot taste the sourdough starter in there at all. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll catch you next time.